Okay, everybody, this week we are finishing up our look at John 17, which is Jesus's prayer as they are finishing their time at the table after the Lord's Supper and headed out to the garden after this. So we have looked at the beginning portion. The first petition is how they refer to it. The first part of 17 talks about Jesus being glorified and finishing the work that God has given him and offering people eternal life, and that eternal life is knowledge and knowing God intimately. And then last week, the focus was on Jesus's disciples, those that are closest to him, and his great love for them, that he considers them to be a gift in his life, and that he has taught them and that they have drawn close to those teachings, and they are being sent out into the world, and his hopes for them, that they find unity and joy, that they, though he wants them to remain in the world, that they recognize that they are also not rooted in the world. And today the prayer broadens even further. I'm going to go ahead and read it from the NRSV, and then we'll work through it. So here we are. So I is Jesus. He's going to say, reference these, and like he's going to reference some people in the very first line, and he's talking about his disciples. So the people who are closest to him, the present believers, and then it gets broadened beyond there. Okay. So John 17, verses 20 through 26. I ask not only on behalf of these, but also on behalf of those who believe in me through their word, that they may all be one. As you, Father, are in me, and I am in you, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. The glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may be one as we are one. I in them, and you in me, that they may become completely one, so that the world may know that you have sent me, and have loved them, even as you have loved me. Father, I desire that those also whom you have given me may be with me where I am, to see my glory, which you have given me, because you loved me before the foundation of the world. Righteous Father, the world does not know you, but I know you, and these know that you have sent me. I made your name known to them, and I will make it known, so that the love with which you have loved me may also be in them, and I in them. So just a reminder, this is, again, the final kind of prayer that Jesus is doing at the table, but it's also a little bit of his kind of goodbye toast speech, hopes and dreams for the disciples as they leave, and then hopes and dreams for the larger world, as we're seeing in here. But there would be a lot of emotion tied up in this for him. So I ask not only on behalf of these, not only on behalf of his best friends, his disciples, the ones that he's been talking about, but also on behalf of those who believe in me through their word. And it's not believe like in this moment believe, but will come to believe in me through their word. So that the idea is what the people that the disciples will impact, and then the people that those people will impact, and the people that those people will impact, that this prayer is for them. So who is this prayer for? This prayer is for you. This prayer is for me. And that's pretty amazing. That they may all be one. This idea of unity, like in our world right now, we don't feel a lot of that, but that God's great desire is for us to be united as a big family. As you, Father, are in me, and I am in you, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. Okay, so we've got a lot of this kind of it reminds us of John 15, of abide. This you abide in me and I in you. This drawing in, this closeness. Bruner says that the N is locked into. So as you are locked into me, may they also be locked into us. So this really, this deep connectedness, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. The others out there may believe that you have sent me. And the piece that is important is not that God sent Jesus into the world, right? The piece that is important is this notion that like what that means, the significance of that God chose to come and dwell among humanity, that Jesus is the ultimate revelation of who God is, that's what his life and ministry and teachings and all of the things, that's a revelation of who God is. And so it's not just the fact that Jesus was sent, it's what that signifies in the world order or in our history. What that is attempting to communicate. If Jesus is a message from God, the word, what is the word? What is the message that that God is trying to convey? And that's being unpacked here. The glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may also be one as we are one. I and them, and you and me, that they may become completely one, so that the world may know that you have sent me and have loved them even as you have loved me. So we see a glimpse of that, right? Like, first, this is a lot of repetition, so we have to piece it apart. The glory that you have given me, we've talked a lot about the glory in the last few verses prior to this, so the last couple of weeks. But just this idea of God's wholeness, like not encumbered by flesh, not encumbered by the ways of this broken world, but God and God's pure essence. That glory, that pureness has been put on Jesus, and he has shared it with the disciples, and that's the unifying piece, this idea of this wholeness, this peace in between. That's the unity that they find among themselves. God locked into them, I locked into them as you are locked into me, that they may be completely one, so that the world may know. We've got this know that we talked about what is eternal life? Eternal life is to know God. But in this case, it's not a know as in one and done, like a moment of knowing and you went from not knowing to knowing. But the way that this Greek word, the tense it's in, is this continuation of knowing, like this ongoing knowing exposureness. That they will continue to know, that they will continue to see, be revealed to, all of that stuff. This message of what it means for God to be sent. And what is that? That you have loved them. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he sent his son. Jesus came so that the world may know that the world is loved. Father, I desire that those also whom you have given me may be with me where I am, to see my glory, which you have given me because you loved me before the foundations of the world. There is a connotation in there that we don't get in English, but exists in the Greek, of this deep desire. He desires very much for this to happen. And what does he desire? For them to see him in his fullness, for them to know not just Jesus who walks on the earth, but for them to know Jesus in all of eternity, like who God is in his fullness, unencumbered by the flesh, so that they will know that you loved me from the foundation, so that they'll get the big picture of all of this. Righteous Father, the world does not know you, but I know you, and these know that you have sent me. So what is that? The world still doesn't get it, God, right? The world doesn't get it. They don't understand. But I understand, and I have given that understanding to the disciples. They have come to know who God is. They have come to understand the essence, the name, the character of God. And they are going to go out into the world to share that more broadly. And they know that Jesus is the revelation. I made your name known to them. So I made your character known to them, and I will make it known. And so this part is saying that it's not just on the disciples. They're not the only ones who are doing this, that Jesus is ultimately doing it through the work of the disciples. But Jesus is not done. Like, Jesus is not just checking out of this next chapter. Jesus will be involved. So that the love with which you have loved me may be in them, and I in them. And in here, this means like in the middle of, and not in individual, but in the group, so that I may be in the group of them. I will be in the midst of them. Your love will be the unity that connects them. I think that's the beautiful piece, right? Like this unity, but what's combining? What is the glue? Jesus's love is the glue. God's love is the glue. And Jesus's presence is the glue that unites them. And so that's it. Just he focuses on this connectedness, right? Like we've got this triangle of relationships of the individual with God and the individual with the rest of humanity, and that those things are intimately connected through this triangle, that our relationship with God is intimately connected to our relationship with other people, and that God's relationship to us is intimately connected to God's relationship with other people. And that is seen over and over through this, that we will be one with God, but also one with each other, and that is the big picture. That is the big goal, is for us to know God, and in knowing God, we can't help but desire to be intimately known by and to know of our neighbor. And I love that this is his final hopes for them, that as he's doing his final goodbyes, that his farewell prayer is, figure out your relationships with us, with me, figure out your relationships with each other, and stay committed to the love that binds you. We know that division exists, and so how do we continue to live in that legacy even when we are faced with so many differing opinions? We need to continue to look to the love to unite us. I hope you guys have a good weekend. This was a short one, but we'll see you on Sunday. Blessings. Bye-bye.